Mission Impossible song.
Oh. Oh, he saw him.
Hey, you good, bro?
Got your sniping of the car.
What's up for the vlogs, yo? Dora and Giselle joined us. We got more people on the way in a bit. Maze just woke up, as you guys saw. Oh, you thought it got on there?
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
You. I know, I feel like I'm getting like a steam facial right now.
Apple cannon time. Careful. It's all gone, buddy.
Holy moly. Oh my gosh.
Let there be light.
Oh, good job.
Mace cheese.
Go ahead, go in there.
How do you go?
How do you go? You just walk in. Just watch out for ET.
Yeah, let's keep going.
We're gonna go too, but we gotta go.
Just said find all 10 of them. Oh,
Like my workout.
In a maze. Maze, you're in a maze. Memories. See if we make it out, guys. Hopefully.
Oh, it is the office. I think.
Oh, it's an office. Look at this.
I don't know, it looks like Michael Scott.
This is where we're coming.
He's like, this is
Say what's up,
underwhelming.
dude.
is it a dead end?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what you're gonna find all 10. You have to go on. Talking. Just redo it. Did you have fun? Mm-hmm. Good. All right. Well, that'll conclude the non-car stuff for the weekend. You guys will see probably. Catch you guys in the next scene, whatever that is. Yo, guys, we just got back home. Your boy's on TV. DBTV station on Roku or Amazon Fire. They're premiering the episode that Clutch Kick put together right now. Pretty cool. All right, what's going on, you guys? The next day is Dad and Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That went at pumpkin patch.
Yeah, we got all wet at the pumpkin patch yesterday, you guys saw. But yeah, today's a new day. We're gonna go grab some bolts from the hardware store for the breather covers on the M113s. One of them broke a long time ago on the ML55, and I need to reseal both of the breather covers. Actually, probably all four from the ML55 and the C55. So I'm gonna get all new hardware for those so they're prepared when I go to reseal them. And yeah, we're gonna go cruise over to my parents' house, carve some pumpkins, and then when I get back today, we're gonna be doing that work on the ML55. I'm also gonna replace the coolant tank, and we're gonna do a little modification to the air intake setup. So I'll catch you guys then, and hope you guys are enjoying your day. So see you in a little bit. Peace. See you guys.
Peace.
Peace. All right, guys, just leaving Ace right now. We got our bolts. We got them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got some extras just in case. They're little M5 little Allen bolts. There may be like 10mm shanks on them. I'll show you guys in a bit, but yeah, nice easy solution. $3 later, ready to go carve some pumpkins. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. All right, see you guys in a bit. Go on that side.
I know, look at that.
I'm trying to make my face.
Doing a good job.
I'll do
Scarface.
it on Papa.
All right. Miz said he wants a sad face. What are you drawing over there now?
I'm trying to make my face.
Smiley face?
Yeah.
Good job.
I try.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Cheese! Why can I not say cheese?
All right, guys, we're playing a little game of hide and seek right now. Got Hannah with us. We're getting spooky for our Halloween
I see
time.
what in there. On it.
It shows on the screen. Oh, you're coming up to light. You gotta move your hand out of the way. There you go. All right, guys, what's going on? Checking back a few hours later. We got a handful of things that I can kind of tackle all at once on this thing. I have a new expansion tank. I have a little silicone elbow right there that I want to install on the stock intake elbow over here to make it easier to remove without having to take off the coolant expansion tank while I have that off, because it's kind of a nightmare. If you guys watch the spark plug video on this SUV, it's a pain to get that back elbow off. It's not the same as the other M113 designs. Yeah, it's kind of crammed and annoying. I got the hardware. I'll show you guys in my pocket. I have all of these, and I actually need to go throw some on the C55 right now, which is sitting over there, because I got all new ones, stainless steel ones, with nice Allen heads on them. All of the ones that are on here were the T25s, and they were all kind of shot, and one of them broke on this breather cover. So I'm going to actually do, like I said, I'm going to do the cooling expansion tank. While I have that off, I'm going to start taking everything else off, get that elbow off, do that little modification. I may even delete the EGR while I'm back there, because I have the plates with me from VRP. I also have secondary air injection delete plates. What else? And then once I have that off, I'm going to do the breather cover at least on the driver's side, but I'm also going to inspect the passenger side and see if that one is leaking. If it is, I'll probably take that one off too. The sealant that I have is actually the special Mercedes sealant, even though it's a Loctite, but it's Loctite SI 5970, which is from Henkel. This is like a special one that I ordered a while ago. It's very hard to find, and very hard to find in that size. Typically you get them in the really small tubes from like FCP Euro, and you need the smaller syringe, but this is like a full-on caulking gun fit, so I'll use what I have and then plug it up so I can save the rest of it. But yeah, that's enough talking. I guess I explained everything, so now it's just time. Let's dive in and start doing all this stuff. First thing I'm gonna do real quick though is go throw the bolts on the C55, otherwise I will forget. All right, guys, here's the engine bay on the C55. Just put one of them in, and here's what they look like. They're M5 again, and thread pitch is probably, I don't know, 1 or half or something, I don't know, but pretty common size once you look for M5 Allen bolts. This engine bay really makes me want to spruce this thing up. This car deserves it. Still don't know what I really want to do. I thought about just trying to polish all the aluminum when I have it off, or maybe painting it would look a little better, but definitely got to do something. It doesn't match the rest of the car for sure. All right, C55 bolts are back, so time to get started on this thing. Basically, got 2 clamps right here. Need to do for these hoses. There is a hose that sits inside of a little clasp right there. There's a vent hose, which just dumps down below. And then there is a big coolant hose right here, which you'll need to take the cover off to access right there. And then there should be an electrical connector on the back side also right here, which is kind of hiding underneath the backside over here. So we'll get that unplugged once we get it out of here. But first things first, let's get this beauty cover off. Just lift up, remember, it's caught on the oil cap. Okay, pop this off. There you go. And just like so, set this down. Okay, and now you'll see that back clamp right there. This one might even be leaking, to be honest, because I've had to fill up coolant every once in a while. You can see there's some drips back there of what looks like dried coolant. So yeah, we'll see. My plan for the silicone elbow, by the way, was basically to cut off the hose right here and right here and try to connect it with that elbow that I have. So I'll pull this off and see if I can make it work, lining up the pieces, and if so, I'm definitely gonna do it because it will save me time later on if I ever gotta mess around with this stuff. All right guys, coolant tank is out. Little life hacks for you guys. 10mm bolts up here. Once you slide those out, you'll be able to get to the electrical connector. Get the front two hoses off first, and what I did was I used some vacuum plugs, plug those up, and then I was able to basically empty out these lines into a jug. And then what I did was basically angled the coolant reservoir like this as I was undoing the last big hose, and there shouldn't really be any, you know, coolant in these hoses right now. So pull that off, and once I have it, you know, tilted out, then I was able to drain it into the jug and collect most of my coolant that I had in there. It's Xerox Go5 that's in here right now, and I've been running that and that or Prestone Platinum, and they both done just fine. The C55 still has the Mercedes blue coolant, but yeah, either one is good in my book. I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. So I have the rest of this Xerox right here, and then I have a little bit of other Xerox that I can throw in to top it off. So anyways, now that this is clear out of here, I am going to take some time right now and kind of do all the work that I want to while the reservoir is out, because once it's back in, it is very tight space working back here. So I'm going to do what I can while I have all this area open, and especially hopefully I'll be able to figure something out with this elbow so that I can make it easier to work on in the future. So we'll see what happens. One thing that can help also, I always forget, Mercedes has most cars that go into service mode with their hoods, pretty much everything. I always forget that the ML55 is capable too. You just gotta switch the little hood latches to the bottom spots, so makes things easier. I can actually see what I'm doing now. All right guys, got a little sidetracked for a bit, but got this thing out. It is so much easier. I mean, I was literally swearing at myself for an hour last time I was getting this off with the coolant tank still in there when I was doing the spark plugs, but I have this thing off. Now, one thing I will highly recommend for you guys, whether you have, you know, like I have the silicone breather hoses now, or you have the factory one, do yourself a favor, and I'm gonna clamp this on here, because when you're installing this, it makes it a drag to try to figure out where this is supposed to go, and keep it on the what's it called, bell mouth right here or whatever. While getting it back installed, it wants to keep slipping off, and once this is in here, it's really hard to get that thing to sit back on there. So I'm gonna put a hose clamp on there this time, make sure I kind of have it at the right angle. And right now, I guess we can line this thing up, because my phone might die, so I don't know how much more recording time I'll have with you guys. But what I'm gonna try to do is basically replace this section, and this is good because it looks like we're gonna have enough. But I'm gonna try to replace this section and clamp this down. But the only thing I'm worried about is if this is a little too big. So I'm not sure. I might have to leave it alone for now, to be honest, but we'll see. All right, guys, the deed is done on this thing. I've cut it, and luckily, silicone tube that I got is a perfect fit. I think it's 3 inches, if I remember correctly. One thing I'm contemplating doing right now, since I'm in here, I have the EGR delete plates. Something I could take care of right now. Probably will throw a check engine light because I don't have a tune to tune that out, but I do have Sentry that I will be hooking up soon, so it wouldn't be a fault code that would cause any issues, at least runnability wise or drivability. And it does make things easier working on, and of course cleaner for the intake manifold. I'm debating on doing it right now. I don't have to finish today because the car is parked at home, which is nice. So I think I probably should just go for that and get rid of this thing. I did, you know, you have to remember that this little thing is being held on over here to kind of stabilize this so that it doesn't fall off. So I'm not sure, you know, how stable this thing will be there by itself. So I may have to do kind of a similar mod that I did to the C55 and just make a silicone elbow attach to the actual throttle body down here. In the future, it does have enough of a lip on it, just like the C55 actually has a bigger lip on it than the C55, so I could throw an intake elbow on that if this doesn't hold secure enough and ends up flopping around. So we'll see what my possibilities are here, but I do want to keep the factory intake box, so regardless, I would basically connect it back to where it's gonna go. But yeah, so it opened up a can of worms right now, but it's just kind of decision making at this point, what I think is gonna be best to do. So we'll see. All right, guys, well, that escalated quickly. Yeah, if you're ever gonna do these, I learned this from my C55. It is such a pain to try to get this tube out while having this still attached. And honestly, this thing is all original, so I'm not too worried about it going. The EGR is all original, I'm pretty sure, so yeah, I could care less if this is gonna be reused or not. Is there a gasket on here? Yes, there is a gasket. I'm gonna reuse the gasket off of here and plug up these plates. I have the ones from VRP. I'll show you guys here shortly. All right, so here are the blank off plates from VRP. I have these and the secondary air injection block offs, but yeah, it's basically just a little piece of billet ratcheted up to the right shape, and this is what I'll be using to cover that spot up. Reusing the factory hardware, which is sitting right here. So go ahead and plug said hole up. All right, guys, somehow my phone is still on. It's gonna die here in a second, I'm sure, but finally got the thing cracked open. No more crud that you see gonna be flying into my intake. I'm gonna go ahead and block it off, and then I'll update you guys later. Okay, guys, don't know how my phone is still working, but there they are, both blocked off, and we can move forward. Make sure there's a vacuum line right there that was coming off the EGR. Make sure you block that. Everything else is good to go. I had to cut the bolts down a little bit by about that much for the EGR delete plate because the thickness is much different from what the EGR is. So yeah, we're looking good. All right, guys, well, I got this fitted up, but it is much later than I thought, and I will catch up with you guys tomorrow to give you guys an update and the finished product. All right, what's going on, you guys? We're back. I'm gonna try to finish tonight. So got the headlamp on. There's only a few things left to do. I'll show you guys. So number one, looks like we got our air intake situated. Pretty happy with it. I will see how this works out. The only thing I'm a little bit concerned about is if the back elbow here gets pulled on at all, it can kind of separate from the bottom portion down below. Oh, it actually already is. There we go. Yeah, so that's something I'm gonna need to keep an eye on to see if this is actually gonna be feasible. I do need to put a clamp on this side. I didn't put a clamp over there, so I need to get that all situated. I'll need to get that breather hose back onto this thing. I think, to be honest, I would like to run the same setup I have on the C55 right now and just vent this to atmosphere, because it's always a nightmare trying to get that plug onto that bottom side down there. So I'm gonna mess around with this a little bit, and then I will get you guys back up to speed once I am reconnecting the coolant tank. Other thing I'm thinking about doing right now, since it doesn't take very long, is getting rid of the secondary air injection pump and seeing how this all kind of gets held on. This is a different setup than on the C55. The brackets are not the same exactly for what's being held down there in the middle. I think it's just this that holds the secondary air injection on. So yeah, we'll get to that, but first I want to make sure the intake is good to go. Sorry, phone cut off, but yeah, I'll keep an eye on how it's kind of running and seeing if it feels like it's sealing and all that stuff, and I'll just go from there. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this off now. If I remember correctly, it's just this Torx bolt holding this clasp together. This clasp basically drops down, and then you're able to kind of wiggle this out of there. So I'm gonna try to do so now, and then hopefully I will have room to access our two bolts that are holding in the secondary air injection pumps right here. So see how it goes. All right guys, moving on to the secondary air injection pump. That is what the bracket looks like once it's off. That front piece all comes off kind of in one. So there's no way to really get rid of this big chunk unless you were to like cut it off. As you can see, this is actually part of the front seal right here, the way they built this into it. So it's not a separate piece like on the C55, so I'm not gonna worry about that. But got these cracked open. They're E12s. Don't forget, we're gonna have to cap this right here, and everything else should be pretty straightforward. So get that bolt off on this side as well, and then we'll grab our delete plates. Here are the delete plates for those that have forgotten, since we did it on the C55. Very nice little billet pieces with VRP's logo etched in there. So yeah, we'll throw these in once it's time, but just want to show you guys real quick. All right guys, we got both of the little injector things out, but unfortunately ran into a bit of a pickle on this side. The bottom end snapped off, like the little tube that inserts into this. You can see the bore is fully open on this side versus this side. That little piece snapped off. Should have been more patient. I was hitting it with a hammer, getting them loose like I did on my C55. On this one, I learned my lesson. I remembered that I was hitting them left and right on the C55 to kind of wiggle this free before I yanked it up. And on this one, I was kind of hitting it up and down at an angle, and it just caused too much force and sheared that off. So I'm in a bit of a pickle for two reasons. Number one, can't really tell what the best way is going to be to get this little bore out. And number two, when I was trying to hit it with a hammer, I actually knocked one of the little pieces of aluminum down in here. Now I think this goes straight to the exhaust, I hope. But I'm gonna need to double check, looking at some schematics. And regardless, I think I'm gonna try to vacuum out this little hole with the little tiny hose attachment to a vacuum to be safe before I do anything. But yeah, should have been done like 10 minutes ago if this hadn't happened. Now I gotta figure out what the best way is to get this little thing out. Wish me luck. Well guys, I am pretty stumped on this one. I've tried all the things I can right now with the tools I have at hand, and I cannot get this thing to start moving. Alright guys, well unfortunately gotta call it a night there. Got the coolant tank all patched up. I need to put in a little more coolant in it tomorrow, but this thing was the unexpected surprise of today. There's always one little thing that happens sometimes, and unfortunately this one is not the easiest one to solve, but I think I have a plan. I'm gonna try to get a kind of extractor tool and see if I can get this thing to spin tomorrow. Fingers crossed. The good news is I think that this does just go straight to the exhaust, so I'm not worried about the little tiny pieces of aluminum that fell down there, but yeah, I'm gonna see what I can do, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully with a solution. All right guys, what's going on? It's the next day. I'm going on my lunch break real quick to go over to Harbor Freight, pick up the extractor tools, but I want to show you guys the C55. Definitely sitting nice now with the front lowered. Very happy with it. All right guys, Harbor Freight was out. I'm trying not to be mad. I'm not, but just annoying. I figured I could grab it real quick, but they were actually out, so I have to go get the one from Home Depot. It looks like the same thing. It's like $5 more, but this was closer to work, so I was trying to go here. I think I have time to make it right now, so I will head over there. All right guys, Home Depot score. This should be what I need. Well guys, hopefully we got what we needed. I just wanted to interject in the video, I guess, right now. It's my brother Louise's birthday. You guys don't know that we're here back then, but one of my best friends, Louise, passed away this year, and it's been really hard. And today is just one of those days. I don't know. I definitely, every day I think about him. Every day I have memories that pop in my head. Almost like I can't go really an hour without thinking of him. You know, even less most of the time. But today's one of those days, just you can feel his presence, and it's like, I don't know, it's like reminders to just be grateful. And you know, something silly like this, like I'm trying to get this piece out of an engine. Who gives a crap? Like, I'm grateful to be here and to, you know, have my family, have my friends, have my loved ones. Every little thing, whether it's a grind part of your life, whether it's something you don't want to do but you have to, like, just try to cherish it all, because there's so many of our loved ones and people that are gone now that, you know, don't get to be in those moments with us or alone as themselves anymore. You know, they're somewhere else now, and I just want to say, like, I love you, Louise, and I know you're always around, and just thank you for always being such a brother to me and everyone you knew. It was, I'm just grateful to have been in his presence as much as I was, and to have shared so many moments with him in such a pivotal time period of my life. And of course, I'd give anything for him to be back right now and forever, but you know, unfortunately life doesn't work that way, and just really important for us to cherish, you know, as cliche, corny as all of that stuff is or sounds. It's just real. Like, doesn't matter, negative, positive, whatever you're going through in life, just try to be in the moment and see where you've been, where you can go, and where you're at right in that space, and just be thankful to be there. So that's all I'll say. I love you so much, Louise. I'm thinking of you, and all of your loved ones are thinking of you big time today. So, well guys, we wish I had better news for you, but we just opened up a whole nother can of worms, unfortunately. Yeah. We just cracked the intake manifold. Well, that was not a good idea. My options now are remove the intake manifold, cut that part off, make my own block off plate. Yeah, I don't know. That sucks. Alright guys, so in a very quick turn of events, thankfully I'm somewhat out of a jam. Big shout out to Lewis' son. He's stopping by right now, meeting him up with a C43 intake manifold that he took off of his old engine before he 55 swapped his 202. I basically sent him a message remembering that he had it laying around, I think, and just asked him if he could spare it for the life of the ML55. And he said it was cool. He said it was just collecting dust in his garage, so I really appreciate him. Got to meet him up, and his trade for that is me taking him for some rips in the ML63 because he hasn't ridden in one yet, and he was curious. So yeah, I was like, I don't know what to do. I was stuck. That crack on the manifold is just like, even trying to patch it or repair it or aluminum weld it or something is just, I don't know, it seems like a headache. So I figured I might as well just start looking for another intake manifold. For those that don't know, all of the 43, 500, 55 manifolds are all the same. So there's a few like differences, mostly like throttle body and things like that, but those are all separate from the actual manifold. The manifolds are the same internally, exterior, all the same. So yeah, makes things somewhat easy. Now I don't got to worry with playing and patching and all that stuff. Since I'm gonna have it out, I plan on doing like a little mini rebuild on this manifold, and then that way I can just throw it in nice and fresh, and I'll get a little practice because I want to do the same thing on the C55, mostly to replace that notorious vacuum line that's right at the front that you basically can't do anything about unless you take it apart or come up with some solution from outside while it's off. But enough talking, just letting you guys know, shout out to Lewis again. Like, threw out a hope and a prayer, did not know what I was going to be doing, what the situation was going to be, but looks like a problem has a solution now. So yeah, thank you again. All right guys, we got Lewis here. Say what's up. And also big thank you again for the rescue. I'll show you guys a manifold in a second, but we just got to whip his 55 swap W202 like I was telling you guys about, and then I'm gonna let him drive the ML63 right now. You haven't driven one, right?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so this will be his first experience.
Oh, okay.
It should be it'll unlock for you once we get in. All right guys, we just got back. We had to get some gas. We didn't record any of the runs, but what do you think? Pretty good for a big beast, right?
Yes sir.
Yeah, not bad. This one's cooler, but this one does the job for daily duties. For those that don't know, W202 is my first car if you guys have been around for that long, and I still always want one. I'll definitely have one again someday, but we'll wait till the time is right. But for sure. All right guys, here is the lovely C43 intake manifold. Again, big thank you to Lewis. This is originally from his 4.3 motor that's no longer in the car, so it's from a good home and it's going to good use on the ML55. So yeah, big thank you again, man. You guys definitely go follow. He's got sick cars anyways. He's knowledgeable at cars, true MB head for sure. So go follow him. I'll put his Instagram up right here and go see all his cool stuff that he's got. So yeah, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys back with this, hopefully getting pulled apart and then back on the car.